Hey, it's Mike with greenglides. It's Sunday, sometime in February of 23, and this is a very long overdue, due video. Um, Even before I started running greenglides, I would get an incredible amount of inquiries from carpet cleaners in the four carpet cleaning nations, which are United States, Canada, Australia, and England. I'm convinced there are no carpets anywhere else in the world because none of them ever get on the forums. They never contact me. They never buy glides. So we're just going to assume those are all fourth world dirt floored nations. I digress. Um, Carpet cleaning wands, probably my second or third favorite subject after either the VGK, off roading, or off roading. Carpet cleaning wands. I can talk about them endlessly. And I think I've tried them all. If I haven't, I've tried something so similar it's not worth seeking that one out because it's purple or has a different length curb feeler on it, is the running joke. Um, my changes have changed, or my changes, my choices, my favorites have changed over the years as I grow older, and my jobs have naturally gotten cleaner. I'm not cleaning filthy carpet anymore. I've unintentionally or intentionally created a client base that doesn't pee on their carpet and doesn't grind in grease. Essentially, I moved to a retirement village, so people are very easy on the carpets here, so I don't need a mega flow, mega flush, or max flow, or any of that other gobbledygook that one additional ounce of pre-spray or one more clean or dry pass wouldn't have done anyways. But that's something you figure out later on in life. So I guess one of the top questions is, what size wand do I get or choose? We'll say if you're kind of new or looking for something different. And I think the natural progression for most carpet cleaners is they start with an AW29, which is the universal number one carpet cleaning wand. You all know what I mean. S bend, 12 jet or 2 jet, 12-inch head, inch and a half pipe. Standard. There's the running joke is that the Hanks brothers from Aramco called it the AW29 because there are 28 other versions, which I sort of believe. There's so many manufacturers of that wand. It's incredible. But as people progress, starting with that, they suffer through slow dry times and wicking and a bunch of other issues that may or may not be related to the wand. And if it is related to the wand, it's because the jets are angled incorrectly on that wand. They spray straight down, which causes a lot of soaking or overwetting, which leads to brownouts and wicking and stinky, ugly looking carpet. I have other videos on how I fix that problem, but that's a big reason people move on, try different wands, because they can't figure out the first wand they had. Back in the day when your first wand didn't come with a glide, those created all kinds of lockdown issues and browning and wicking and soaking and stinky carpets. And glides came along and fixed most of all of those problems. Glides won't fix sloppiness. They won't fix improper use of tact, temperature, agitation, chemical, and time. So if you want to just come in and spray heavy detergent and not do a wet pass or a clean pass, you're going to have problems. You're going to be a horrible carpet cleaner. No one's ever going to call you back or refer you. So as insignificant as a wand can seem, a properly used wand creates repeat customers and they create referrals because it's used correctly. You do a great job. Using correctly, you'd probably be better off doing low moisture. Think about that. So, almost all the wands on the market, if they're built for a truck mount, are good wands. The difference between them all is so insignificant that speeding up or slowing down your dry pass, adjusting your truck mount's vacuum system a little bit, running a 2.5-inch hose off the face of a smaller machine can make up for what a wand may lack. Everything's got to be balanced, and you kind of only learn that from experience and or listening to the gurus in the industry. But most carpet cleaners aren't going to figure it out for themselves, so I've seen guys doing it wrong for 40, 50 years and ripping their bodies apart, cleaning incorrectly, scrubbing, leaning over, no glide. And someone will tell them to call me and say, hey, you really ought to call this greenglides company because they can solve your back issues and wrist issues and joint issues and soaking carpet issues. And I'll spend an hour on the phone. I'm explaining all the benefits and how to change up their cleaning and how to think about everything different. And then we get to the price, and it's like I'm trying to steal their dinner money from their family. They will not pay that $178 for a glide, and they'll just continue on their ways. So in other words, there's just a whole lot of stubborn people in this industry that will never learn. So let's get back to that wand question. For most people, an AW29 with the proper flow, and the proper flow can be 4, 6, or 8, depending on who and what you're cleaning. Who you're cleaning for or what you're cleaning. You're doing a lot of filthy, nasty, thick nylon carpet or even thick polyester carpet, you probably want to be higher flow, assuming your truck mount can handle it. Higher flow meaning 8. And 8 flow coming out of 2 jets is a heck of a lot of impact. Probably more than you need in most cases, but that thing will flush. Let me tell you. I personally carry a 6 flow and a 4 flow, and 85% of my jobs can be done beautifully with a 4 flow, and they dry very quick. Think about that. Granted, I don't clean filthy carpets much anymore. Every once in a while, I run into a whopper, but not much. So less is more. And if you had heard me babbling on 20 years ago when I had my first Aerotech, Vortex, almost 20 years ago, I was all about 12 and 16, 18, 24 flow, but I didn't know what I was talking about. So for most cleaners, all you need is that little cheapy, well, they're not so cheap anymore. Now they're about $600, but they used to be much cheaper. But by the time you trick them out, put a glide on there and the shear kit, it gets up there. But still $600, and it's the thing will last a lifetime. They're not the most beautifully welded instruments, but they are built tough. So let's say you want to be a little quicker than a 12-inch. You want to cover more ground. You can get 14s and 15s and 16s and 17-inch wands. Yep, they're out there all the way up to 17. Well, heck, Tony Dang made that 24-inch wand if you want to get ridiculous about it. But I don't think you should go really more than 14 or 15. But you better have a big old truck mount and better be 20 years old with Popeye arms and to sling that around. It's not an easy feat, and it wears you out, and it starts to tear your body apart. Not too many years into it. So I personally think if you can get away with a 12-inch, you're not in a super humid environment, and you're doing a lot of furnished homes, a 12-inch, 1.5-inch tube is fine. Don't make the mistake of running a real long whip hose. Go maybe 5-6 feet. Because that does make a difference, but a 12-inch wand feels really good with that short whip hose, and the difference in dry times is minutes, literally minutes, with a 6-foot whip. Assuming your truck mount's all tuned in and your filters are nice and clean and you're running at 13 to 14 inches of lift and everything is copacetic. So I also recommend you carry 2 wands in your truck and make them as different as possible for your client base. Like I said, do a 4 and a 6, maybe a 14 and a 12, or a 11 and a 15, or something just dramatically different. Maybe go something super lightweight, like an Evolution or a Sharpshooter or a Sapphire Titanium. So when you're getting tired at the end of the day, you pull out that 6-pound wand versus the 9 or 10-pound wand. It makes a big difference. It really does. And create something different. Also, it's just nice to have 2 on board in case something goes wrong. You don't have the time to fix a leak, or you forget it at Mrs. Jones' house, or at the car wash, or you run over it with your Vortex, or something idiotic that we've all done. But 2 different wands, fantastic idea. And so much of it is personal preference, from, let's say, straight bends like the Evolution, the Hydro Hoe, the Steamway, the Sharpshooter. Some people love straight wands, and they're actually kind of nice if you're not trying to get under a bunch of furniture. You'd be surprised how far you can get under there. Much further than you'd think, but nothing like an S bend. But if you're doing a lot of open area, it's nice. You can get that thing at, I can, as tall as I am, I can at least get it out there a foot further than an S bend. So it's a definite benefit. Wands that have easy glide swap out systems are super cool. I mean, it's real nice to have, I use a Sapphire a lot. It's really nice to be able to go from a slot to a hole or a hard surface glide, clean 3 different types of areas, and swap them out nearly instantaneously. The Evolutions do that really easily. I'm shocked that the swivel wand gurus, Brister and Rob and Conway and Tony Dang, none of them figured that out. It just baffles me why they don't utilize a swap out system. They're using a system that was based on the original glide from the ProChem titanium that is force fit on. You got to heat it on and pry it on, and people pound them with hammers and break them, and they never want to take them off again. But there's internal plug-in designs, and there are side fit designs. There's sharpshooters, which take a couple of screws. Never mind this fancy beta gasket. Not the easiest, but they're coming out with something that's going to be much easier for a future wand project. But that's super cool. But at least they're getting it. Easy swap out glides. That's a big deal. On the subject of these swivel wands, swivels are good for highly furnished homes, and if you're under 40 years old and you don't clean too much, but they will mess up with your elbow big time. Sometimes your shoulder, sometimes your wrist, because you're constantly riding that thing. And no, I'm not just saying that because I don't get along with any of those guys. It's because it's the truth. And I hear it all the time from cleaners coming in. They're calling me to fix up their old ProChem or Sapphire or something because they're giving up on the swivel. Some of the ones with the locks are nice, but I think the lock systems are super wimpy. I'd like to see Conway incorporate a much beefier lock into his, because I think he makes the best out of all of them. Although the others are certainly catching up, because quite frankly, they totally knocked off his design, but they're not any cheaper, so you might as well buy the original. But a lock would be good, because you just don't need the swivel on a lot of projects, and you could save your elbow and lower back and everything else. Price of wands is, man, they all seem to be in the $1,500 range nowadays. It's just what it is, unless, well, Westpac's and their Asian built wands are still a bargain. And they make low profile 12s and 14s and steel and titanium, and they really are a bargain. Even the PMF standard wands are, well, they're about the same price, I guess, on the titanium. The steels are a little bit more because they're American made. But you can check all those out on Greenglides. I sell all the PMFs, the Sapphires, the Westpac's. I'm going to have the Sharpshooters up there soon. Sell them all with Greenglides at the best price possible if you're interested. But hopefully I answered all your questions as far as all the choices in wands. So much of it's personal preference. That's where it helps to go to, trade shows. Unfortunately, the trade shows are dwindling. The experience barely has running truck mounts anymore. There's a show coming up in Florida. I don't even know if they're going to have truck mounts there, but that used to be a big deal. I know my deal, Mikey's Fest. Sometimes we have trucks running there and have different wands, not always. But that's getting harder and harder. I don't know if they even do CAD days anymore, customer appreciation days, where you can go try different wands. So a lot of it is you got to go clean with a buddy. Hopefully you guys got friends in the cleaning industry. You can go out and give different things a try. But honestly, you put a glide on any wand, it's kind of the great equalizer. So many wands, their user angle or working angle sets them to a certain height, working height, that you may be too tall or short for. But the round profile of the glide fixes all that. Now you can, if you look at that vacuum slot, which is kind of here at 530, you can move that thing a lot and still remain in contact with the carpet. When you got a flat open wand opening that's this wide, you can't tilt it. You always got to keep your working handle at the same height, and that's what we used to suffer through. And I bet you most of the people watching this video have never cleaned without a glide, so you may not understand what I'm talking about. And a lot of wands nowadays, you can't even use them without a glide. They're integrated into it. But the glides have really helped that. Now you can back in the walls or lower them and do all kinds of cool stuff. You can swipe them sideways, which kind of like having a swivel. But lots of choices, and geez, there's really no bad choice anymore. There's some funky ones, some of the old wands that never really adapted even with glides. You can't even get those anymore. But the sapphires are terrific choices. The Westpac low profiles, all those swivel wands. Although some of the swivels are a little suspect, and if they rattle and leak, and when you see that long piece of rubber on there, shrink wrap, that's the height of leak. It's not to look cool, so avoid that. Availability of glides on some of those can be tough. You get an owner of the company that all of a sudden doesn't like you. He won't sell you a glide, so we've got you covered on those Angry Retailer glides with the Max Flow. This one's super cool. I didn't even realize when we made this. This covers the Joe Brister Max Flow, the Tony Dang V5, and the TMF swivel wands. They all knocked each other off, all use the same pattern. How cool is that? Super easy for me. I had no idea this was going to cover 3, but that's nice. There's a lot of development that goes into making glides, so that was a super cool trinity. Well, anyhow, if you got further questions, I love to talk this stuff. Just don't call me at too late at night or early in the morning. I also love my wife and just want to hear my wand babble. But 775-552-5429 at respectable hours if you want to talk further. Check out the site. We got all kinds of cool stuff on there. I got tons of wand videos on my YouTube channel. And I hope I answered some questions there. Well, I rambled on for 17 minutes. That's not too bad. I could have gone on for a half an hour if I'd written things down. But again, my favorites are the Sapphire 12 and the good old AW 28 with my shear kit. If you wanted to see what that shear kit looks like, if you haven't seen it yet. Dang, man, I'm almost out of these things. I'm going to have to make another batch. So, you can see that angle. See how it curves? Actually, it goes this way. It causes the jet to spray right behind the glide instead of down. It goes that way instead of this way. Absolutely terrific. Want to prove it yourself? Go run your glided wand over some hard surface with the standard jet setup, and you'll see the water just puddle out all over the place. Put these on, the water's going to hit right behind the glide and get slurped up. Same thing happens on the carpet. Think about it. All right, that was fun. Got to get to work, make some wands, pack some glides, and go to Walmart. Later.